and we're live.
How's it going? Welcome to our newest show on Russo's Playbook, On the Court with AG and CP. We're just going to be talking hoops here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that. Go to russosplaybook.com to view our articles. And this is welcome to our new show. We got a
Yeah,
lot of topics for you with basketball. And here's Connor. I know you guys saw him before he came in to talk basketball. We figured we might as well just do a whole basketball show.
yeah. I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. Love talking hoops, no matter the time or place, wherever, whatever the medium. Podcasts on Zoom right now, in person, whatever, what have you.
Yep. So let's get into some NBA. I mean, we got Philly running the East, and then the Jazz running the West right now. The East is kind of weak. I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, it looks a little weak.
So here's my thoughts on the East. So we have Philly sitting atop the East, half game ahead of the Nets, a game ahead of the Bucks. The Bucks haven't had Drew Holiday for about like 3 weeks now, like some sort of injury. Nets haven't had their big three altogether. KD's been out. He'll be out through at least the All-Star break, maybe like a week or so past then. And with the Raptors, Lowry's out. The Heat, they
Yep.
didn't have Jimmy Butler for over a month.
Yep.
They're on a 5 game winning streak. Raptors are on a little winning streak.
Yeah, the Raptors were bad at first in the beginning of the season.
Yup.
They're getting it together, and then Charlotte getting it together. They're in the playoffs as of right now. If the season ended today,
Yeah, they're
Ball's coming.
sitting in the eighth spot. And I think the key factor for them has been putting LaMelo Ball in the starting lineup.
Yeah, 100%.
Because he's averaging like something like 19 points a game, which is up from I think he was around 13, 14 while he was coming off the
Yeah.
bench.
Yep.
And like they're other guys. I mean, Gordon Hayward, he's having a great year now, starting to look like his Utah Jazz form. Had PJ Washington put up a 40 ball, I think on Saturday over the weekend.
Yep. And then the Knicks in fourth. How about that? Is it just because it's a weak conference as of right now? Is it because of all those problems we just diagnosed, or
Uh
they legit?
Combination of that, and if you look at like all the defensive rankings throughout the NBA, they're I think first in like defensive efficiency and like in the top 5 or 10 in like points allowed, 3 point percentage for opposing teams and stuff like that. Like defensively, they're at the top in pretty much any statistic you could imagine. Obviously,
Yeah.
the Tibbs effect, and their offense is running pretty smoothly with pretty much Julius Randle as the hub, and now we're seeing. I saw stats on RJ Barrett, but he's been shooting really well from three and from the field overall over the last like week and a half or so.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Tibbs and his defense because I was going to say the same thing. I mean, their defense is balling out because of that. It's the Tibbs effect, like you said. It's also low key the D Rose effect.
Yep.
Uh, Tibbs has a 63% winning percentage with D Rose on the team compared to 46 without him all time. So Tibbs Tibbs and D Rose, excuse me. That's the 1-2 punch right there, I guess.
And bro, just think about this: the Knicks have been without Mitchell Robinson the last what 2 weeks or so, and he was projected to be out like a month plus.
Yep.
And he's on the court for defense and defense and defense thirdly also. That's
Yeah.
all he's good for.
Yep. And then obviously, uh, the Hawks just they're starting 14 and 20. They've dealt with a lot of injuries. Speaking of injuries, but they just fired their head coach and they hired Nate McMillan, who's had some success as a head coach in the league. And how you feel about that hire? You think they could turn something around, maybe push for that last seed?
I mean, so here's my take on McMillan. So he had success in Seattle, like the early years with young KD, young Russ. Then the early years with Dame in Portland, they had some great
Yep,
teams. And I
exactly.
thought it was a bad firing on Indiana's part. I mean, they got swept. Who'd they face? They faced like I think what was it like the Cavs
Heat?
1 year, and then like the Bucks or someone the following year.
Oh yeah, might have been.
And it's just like you made the playoffs. You didn't want to pay Paul George, so you flipped him, got Oladipo, didn't want him, flipped him now for Karis LeVert.
Rockets might flip him too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
Yeah,
as a small market team like in Indiana, like what do you really expect? Like you're giving away your and like sometimes an MVP caliber player.
yeah, right, 100%.
And I mean, I think he should have been coaching. It's about time. I didn't necessarily think Lloyd Pierce was a bad coach. I think they just like as you mentioned, the injury bug. Bogdanovich was out a while.
That could,
Gallinari was out, and they've had injuries to other like key rotation guys. They don't want to keep John Collins. I think Capella was out for a grit.
mhm.
So it's just like I don't necessarily think it's coaching. I think it's
Management.
having all like your veterans out on the injury list
Yeah,
and a bunch of young guys who are very inconsistent and getting their legs in the league. I think that's really what's going on.
yeah,
Not necessarily bad coaching, but I think Nate McMillan's a great upgrade from assistant to interim coach. They should
definitely,
just ink,
definitely.
they should just ink him right now to like a 4 year
Yes,
deal.
that's what I was thinking. I thought they should. I don't know if he wants to do it or if they don't want to do it, but that's what I thought they would do. Like when I heard that they were looking at him to be the interim, I was like, they might as well just make him the head coach.
Yeah, because I think he was second chair on the bench, their head assistant under Pierce.
Yeah, I mean, and like we said, he's done it before. But how about the Wizards? They're right under the Hawks. They're actually the same amount of games back from first. They're at 13 and 19. Bradley Beal just keeps on dropping 40, and they never win when he drops 40.
But
And then,
also, I saw a stat over the weekend. I think it was after their win on Saturday when Russ had a triple double. Russ is something like 100, 130 and like 40 when he has a triple double in games or something like that,
yeah,
or near triple
that's
double.
another one. So you just need him to get a triple double. You don't even need Brad to get 40.
Yeah,
Just get him a triple double and have Brad throw up like 30, and you're good if you're the Wizards, right?
yeah, and you see what's happened. Other than like when Brad drops 40, like I think they've won either out of the last nine or seven out of the last nine
See?
and playing a lot of good teams. Like I think I forget I can't remember the specific matchups, but they haven't been playing like bottom feeders the whole time.
Yeah, I hear you.
They played some legit squads. They're actually looking good, and they have uh I think who is it? Their starting center Thomas Bryant. He's out for the year with an ACL injury.
Yep. And then
He
we'll
was
oh, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just saying like he was a starter the last year and a half, 2 years, and he was supposed to be a good cornerstone piece going forward.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll flip it over to the West now. So we talked about how the Rockets might trade Oladipo too, or I mentioned it. They got rid of Boogie Cousins. You think he fits well with your Nets?
I mean, absolutely, dude. That's the one thing they need. They need big men. They need bodies
Yep.
because now on the roster um they just have DeAndre Jordan and now Nick Claxton. He was their second round pick in the 2019 or 2020 draft. It's now his second year as a pro, and he's been injured pretty much his whole time since he left Georgia. So, and he's getting time. He's a pretty good rim runner, but again, he's young, doesn't have his feet under him. And I had the Nets game on for a little bit before I went to halftime, and he got an extended stretch of playing time, and he looked winded, bro.
Yeah, I
That's
believe.
just the fact of not being on the court, no
Yeah,
training camp,
I
and
believe
starting
it.
the season a month late or so.
Yeah. So they definitely could use Boogie.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. I mean, other like the Nets need him. I think it would be interesting to see him go maybe to I would like the Lakers could use front court depth, even though they picked up Damian Jones like 3 days ago, and like he had his runs with the Warriors on I think their
yeah.
first championship team. But I think the Warriors would be a good spot for him. The Celtics need big men because Tristan Thompson and Tice aren't doing it for them. Um, where else could he fit?
Yeah, the Celtics, that's a good one. That's a good one. Celtics could
Yeah.
definitely use Boogie. They're
Also,
like sixth or something right now. Yeah, six.
yeah, and I'm just thinking, so like just like the Nets real quick, so they have a mid-level exception contract that right now they could give a guy a deal up to like $5.3 million. And if they wait till I think it's beginning of April, it gets lowered to like 4.1, 4.2 million. But like that's going to be the market range for Boogie anyway. So you might see a team. I think he would be a huge pickup for the Jazz. Just add to their front court depth. Like
Yeah,
Boogie off the bench coming after Gobert. So
that's
yeah,
a
you lose defense, but you got a dude who's 6'11". What is he like 260? Can handle the ball, great passer, could shoot the rock. I mean, wherever he goes, he's going to make an impact provided he stays on the court. I
yeah.
think there's
I
a
agree.
lot of teams that could use a guy his skill set.
I agree for sure. And then you got the Suns playing really well, 22 and 11, sitting in fourth. The Lakers and Clippers round out the top three with the Jazz at number one. But the Warriors, that's the real impressive team here. 19 and 16. They're in the eighth spot right now. They've got a one-game lead on Dallas for that spot. Steph is playing lights out. He's in the MVP discussion coming back.
Absolutely, rightfully so. Because I mean, once he really started getting it going, kind of coincided with Draymond coming back because Draymond opened it up where Steph doesn't have to bring up the ball and totally initiate the offense, kind of, and like throwing it back to more what we saw with those two and Clay, how Curry and Clay would be running off the ball, but now we're seeing Wiggins doing his thing, putting up like 18 or so a game. And over the last 16 games, Oubre's shooting like 41% from three, up
Yeah,
from he was in like the low 20s the first
dude,
18.
it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, he
Horrible.
was a prime target to take the under on his points every game
Yeah, exactly.
during
I
that
think he
stretch.
I think he went like the first 3 weeks without hitting a three or something like that. It was
Yeah,
like
not a single
over
one.
like 20 or something to start.
Yeah, it was
So it's tough to
absurd
come
because
back from that.
they would have had he shot, I think, league average from three, which is about like 36% during like that stretch of the season, they would have been number one in the league by a wide margin, and they were sitting at like second or third at like 43% with him shooting in the 20s.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, they would have been uh
Ridiculous.
in the lead by far. And but who else you got in the MVP discussion with Steph?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have him that high yet. I mean,
Well,
you
where do
asked
you have
me,
Steph? Where do you have Steph?
uh, it's tough. I got him like I guess now he's trending upward. I would say if you asked me last week, I would have had him at fifth, but now I would probably put him at fourth. So right now I would go no, Embiid one, Braun two, Jokic three, Steph four. And then I don't know if you want to do like depending on the week, Kawhi, Luca, someone like that.
For the fifth?
Yeah, for the fifth spot.
Yeah, I hear you. I think Embiid's almost running away with it at this point. I mean, they got the first spot in the East, like we talked about. He's balling. I don't even know. I don't know what his numbers are as of today. Let me see real quick.
Yeah, last
But
time I checked, I think I was looking at it yesterday. He's putting up, I think, around like 30 a game.
yeah, 30 a game exactly. 30 a game, 11.3 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 1.3 steals, and 1.4 blocks a game, shooting 52%. So yeah, he's having a hell of a year.
Yeah, and
Put it
over
cleanly.
the last month, Simmons putting up close to 20 a game. He's doesn't make his all-star selection that ridiculous. I mean, I still wouldn't have voted for him if I had a vote, but
Yeah,
that's besides the point. Tobias Harris is having, I think, a career efficient year. Seth Curry
yeah, he's playing
having
well. That was a good
40,
addition for him.
50, 40,
Yeah,
90. I don't know if he's missed a free throw yet. Danny Green's playing well. Like they've got a squad. I don't necessarily think they'll stay in the one seed in the East because I think like the Bucks are a game out and they haven't had Drew Holiday, their second best player. Because now they have no point guards. They're running DiVincenzo at point.
yeah, right. But
Like
yeah, when they
MVP
get everybody
wise,
back,
Embiid hands down right now.
yeah, when they get everybody back too, they're gonna be better. Same with the Nets though. So
Yeah,
they're
without
both fighting up
KD.
there. Yeah, they're both fighting up there. Let's flip it to college basketball. I know you're big on college basketball. We had the way too early look into March Madness a couple weeks ago. How you feeling about those picks?
Yeah, so I mean, Baylor lost to Kansas at home. Kansas was at home in Rupp Arena Saturday, but wasn't totally shocking because before that game, Kansas had won 28 straight senior nights. now 29. Kansas is on an uptrend. I think they've won 5 out of their last
Yeah,
6.
yeah, they've been playing well lately.
So, yeah, so they're rounding into form, and the previous knocks on them was that they didn't have a go-to guy, but it's kind of working out well for them because now they have a kind of like a pretty balanced attack. So if like you're the opposing team and you're trying to game plan for them, you don't know who's going to go off.
Yeah,
It's kind of
right.
like give and take. So whoever's got the hot hand, they're going to give the ball to. Kansas wise, on the Baylor front, I think it was good they got a loss because it takes a lot of the pressure off of them going into the tournament as an undefeated team. Even though likelihood they had a pretty good chance to lose at some point during the Big 12 conference tournament, but now I think it gives them a total reset where they'll be able to truly refocus and be like, all right, we're using the tournament to truly prep and get our feet under us after coming back off a little COVID pause.
Yeah, I looked at it the same way. I was. It sucks that they lost, but it low key could be a good thing. You know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
takes a little
Because
bit of the
they
weight
don't
off
have the
the
pressure.
shoulders.
Yeah. Yep. Then you had Florida State.
I mean, Florida State, they were rolling. What was it, like a week and a half, 2 weeks after I put that blog out? They blew out Virginia by 21. Then, I mean, they had a loss to UNC by 8 on Saturday. It was UNC, North Carolina's, I believe, senior night. And North Carolina is still going to be a tournament team. Remains to be seen how high of a seed they'll get, but like they're still a good team. They have a lot of veterans on the roster, some good young scorers in the guard positions. So it's not a bad loss. Like I don't think they probably dropped a couple spots in the rankings, but overall, I don't think it's enough to drop them to like past the 3 seed unless they lose in the first round of the ACC tournament.
Yeah,
So like right
that should
now,
be
that's
good.
looking good. They got back Scotty Barnes is back. Rashawn Gray, one of their big guys, he's like, bro, he looks like a linebacker. Like 6'8". He's got
Yeah,
some like baby fat on him, but he's
jacked.
a big dude, shake and bake. He's got like a Glenn Big Baby Davis body,
Oh,
although
okay,
like 20
gotcha.
pounds like smaller, but he could shoot. He could handle the ball against bigger defenders. So as a whole, Florida State's looking really good still.
And
And
then your Johnnies.
yeah, I mean that was kind of like that was riding the hot hand before
Yeah,
that. Uh
it's a hot take for
yeah, it
sure.
was a hot take. Like I didn't really know who to throw in because the mid majors are too tough to tell because you really don't know who's going to be in the tournament till we get all the auto bids in. Although I think really the only mid major conference other than maybe the A10, which isn't really a true mid major that's going to get more than one seed is I can't remember the conference name, but it's the one with Drake and Loyola Chicago because Loyola Chicago is probably going to win it outright unless Drake's really the only team that could beat them in their
So they
in
probably
Missouri
they'll probably
Valley.
both get in probably.
Yeah, I think if Loyola Chicago loses in the tournament, unless they lose first round, they're going to be a shoe in. Maybe as like a 9, 10, 11 seed. Drake, I think now they have to win the tournament to get in
Okay.
because they don't really have the resume. Although they did beat Loyola Chicago in overtime 2 weeks ago, without their top 1 or 2 scorers. I can't remember exactly, but definitely without their best scorer. But like it's I don't know, like in the next few weeks, once the auto bids are in, then I'll be able to talk about them more because you really don't know. Like it's pointless writing blogs without really knowing who's going to be in.
Yeah.
It's a total toss up. Like you could have a team come out of the woodworks as like an 8 seed in one of these conferences that you wouldn't have thought of beginning the
Mhm.
season or even now.
Right. So that's exactly why you wrote a blog about the players instead. So check that out on Russo's Playbook.com. We got Conor's first team All America picks as well as the Player of the Year pick. But now I'm gonna hit you with a buzzer beater. You got 30 seconds. Who's your championship matchup in the NCAA and why?
Ooh, championship matchup. I like right now. I think my front runner. It's not even a hot take. A lot of other people in the college basketball world would be saying the same thing. But Michigan is rolling. They beat Ohio State, who's a really good team. Then they steamrolled Iowa. coming off and I think they had one game before the Ohio State matchup after coming off of COVID with a month gap.
Who
They're
they
rolling.
playing?
What?
Who they playing?
Whew. I don't know. I'm going off the cuff here. I would say probably Gonzaga.
Yeah,
Not too exciting, but I mean we've seen over the last few years it's mostly been like higher seeds, like 1, 2, and 3 seeds, matching up in the final game of the big dance.
yeah, and who wins?
I give it to Michigan because I think like the only knock on them is that they have a high turnover percentage, but they have a lot of veteran players. Their youngest player that gets real minutes is their starting center Hunter Dickinson, who's 7'1", and he bullied Luka Garza in the post during that matchup last week.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll come back to those predictions for sure. See how that goes. I know I put you on the spot there.
Yeah, all
You
good.
know, but I like the predictions. I mean, Michigan is rolling right now. But yeah, other than that, check out our blogs at russosPlaybook.com. You can subscribe here at Russo's Playbook on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all of that. Appreciate you guys for listening. Um, yeah, that's all we got.
Yeah, stay tuned for
See ya.
next time. We'll see where this pod goes.
Yep. See ya. Have a good one.